Have you ever turned down an invitation? Not because you hated people, but because being alone felt more peaceful? Have you ever looked at a crowded room and thought, I'd rather be home with my own thoughts? Or maybe people have called you cold, distant, or antisocial, when deep inside, you simply feel safer in your own company. If that sounds familiar, this video is for you, because not everyone who stays alone is lonely. Some people choose solitude, not because they have given up on others, but because they have finally found themselves. And once we understand the psychology behind this choice, we stop judging it and start respecting it. Today, we're exploring the psychology of people who stay lonely by choice. You might discover that what looks like loneliness from the outside is actually one of the strongest forms of emotional independence. Most people grow up believing that happiness always comes from having more friends, more conversations, more parties, and more people around us. But psychology tells a more interesting story. Human beings need connection. At the same time, we also need space. The healthiest minds usually know when to seek people and when to step away from them. Research has consistently shown that the quality of relationships matters much more than the number of relationships. In fact, studies from universities, including Harvard's long-running adult development study, have found that close, meaningful relationships predict happiness far better than simply having a large social circle. So when someone chooses to spend more time alone, it doesn't automatically mean something is wrong. Sometimes, it means they've learned something that many people never do. Let's understand why. The first reason is they protect their mental energy. Some people leave a conversation feeling excited. Others leave the exact same conversation feeling completely exhausted. Psychologists call this emotional energy. Every interaction requires our brain to read facial expressions, understand emotions, respond politely, and think about what to say next. For highly reflective people, this mental work can become tiring. Imagine your phone battery. Some people recharge by being around others. Others recharge by unplugging from everyone. Neither is wrong. If someone chooses a quiet evening instead of another social event, they may simply be protecting the energy they need for tomorrow. And that's not weakness. It's emotional awareness. The second reason is they've been hurt enough to value peace. Not everyone who stays alone was born that way. Many became that way. Maybe they trusted the wrong person. Maybe they were betrayed by a close friend. Maybe they kept giving, while others kept taking. Pain changes how the brain sees relationships. After repeated emotional disappointment, many people stop chasing attention. Instead, they begin protecting their peace. This doesn't mean they hate people. It means they finally learned that peace feels better than constant drama. Sometimes healing doesn't make someone more social. Sometimes healing teaches someone to become more selective, and that's a very different thing. The third reason is they enjoy their own mind. Have you ever noticed someone who can sit quietly for hours, reading, creating, thinking, or simply watching the rain? Many people fear silence, but others find comfort inside it. Psychologists often describe solitude as a space where self-reflection becomes easier. Without constant noise, our brain begins organizing thoughts, solving problems, and understanding emotions. Some of the world's greatest ideas were born during quiet moments. Albert Einstein often valued long periods of reflection. Many writers, scientists, artists, and inventors have spoken about the importance of solitude for creative thinking. Being alone doesn't always mean escaping life. Sometimes, it's where life makes the most sense. The fourth reason is they no longer seek constant approval. One hidden psychological shift happens when people become emotionally mature. They stop asking, do people like me? And they start asking, do I actually enjoy being around these people? That's a powerful change. Many of us spend years trying to fit into places where we never truly belonged. But people who become comfortable alone often stop chasing acceptance. Their confidence slowly begins coming from inside, instead of from other people's opinions. Psychologists call this having an internal source of validation. Instead of depending on likes, compliments, or constant attention, they trust their own judgment. That kind of confidence is quiet, but it's incredibly strong. The fifth reason is they value deep connections over many connections. Modern life often rewards popularity. More followers, more contacts, more messages, more notifications. But meaningful relationships don't work like that. Research published in psychological science has repeatedly suggested that relationship quality has a much greater effect on well-being than simply increasing the number of social interactions. People who choose solitude often aren't avoiding friendship. They're avoiding shallow friendship. They would rather have one person who truly understands them than 50 people who only know their name. Depth feels more valuable than numbers. And once someone experiences genuine connection, fake connection becomes much harder to tolerate. The sixth reason is they think differently from most people. Some people constantly look outward. Others naturally look inward. Reflective people spend a lot of time asking questions. Why did I react that way? Why do people behave differently? What actually makes life meaningful? These questions don't always have quick answers. They require quiet. In psychology, self-reflection is linked with greater emotional understanding when balanced in healthy ways. People who spend time understanding themselves often make decisions with more intention instead of reacting automatically. To others, this may look like isolation, but inside, a lot is happening. The seventh reason is they've learned that being alone is different from feeling lonely. This might be the biggest misunderstanding of all. Loneliness is painful. It's the feeling of wanting connection, but not having it. Solitude is different. Solitude is choosing time alone and feeling emotionally comfortable with that choice. Psychologists make an important distinction between these two experiences. Someone can have hundreds of friends and still feel deeply lonely. Another person can spend an entire weekend alone and feel completely fulfilled. The difference isn't the number of people nearby. The difference is whether our emotional needs are being met. That's why some of the happiest people you'll ever meet aren't surrounded by crowds. They're surrounded by peace. Choosing solitude only becomes healthy when it comes from freedom, not fear. Choosing solitude only becomes healthy when it comes from freedom, not fear. If someone stays alone because they enjoy it, that's emotional independence. If someone stays alone because they're terrified of trusting anyone again, that emotional wound still deserves healing. The goal isn't to avoid people forever. The goal is to become strong enough that being with people becomes a choice, not a need. Real emotional strength says, I enjoy my own company, but I'm also open to healthy relationships. That's balance, and balance is where real peace lives. Instead, ask yourself a few simple questions. Does being alone give me energy or drain me? Does being alone, am I protecting my peace or hiding from pain? Do I avoid everyone or only the people who don't respect me? Am I building a meaningful life or simply waiting for life to happen? Your answers matter more than anyone else's opinion. Here's something simple you can practice this week. Spend one quiet hour without your phone. Take a walk, write your thoughts, read a few pages of a good book, or simply sit somewhere peaceful. Notice how your mind feels. If silence scares you, there may be emotions waiting to be understood. If silence comforts you, you may already be building one of the strongest relationships you'll ever have, the relationship with yourself. Remember, the world often celebrates people who are always talking, but wisdom often grows in people who know when to stay quiet. Being alone isn't automatically a problem. Sometimes it's where confidence grows. It's where emotional healing begins. It's where creativity appears. And it's where we slowly become the person we've been searching for all along. So if you've ever felt different because you enjoy your own company, don't rush to change yourself just to make other people comfortable. Protect your peace. Choose your relationships carefully, and never confuse silence with emptiness. Sometimes, silence is where the strongest minds become stronger. If this video helped you understand yourself a little better, let me know in the comments. Have you ever chosen solitude because it brought you peace, or because life pushed you there. Your story might help someone else feel less alone. And if you enjoy psychology videos that help us understand ourselves and the people around us, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and join us for the next journey into the fascinating world of human behavior. Until next time, take care of your mind, because understanding yourself is the first step toward understanding the world.